Hey everyone, Ray Games here, back with a quick dev video on reworking Wither. So I asked you guys on Instagram who should I rework first, and Wither was the clear winner. I will admit, Wither is in desperate need of a rework. I had very lofty ambitions for him, but sadly as the update he was a part of got bigger, I had to rush the kit's development. My original intention for Wither was for the kit to be a zoner with high damage but low defense, like a glass cannon essentially. You see, Raid Arena didn't have any zoning kits yet, and I really wanted to add one. Nowadays, of course, we have good zoners like Tan, Inferno, and Light Blue, but back then there were none. So I went to work and designed what I thought would be a good zoner. I gave Wither a stone sword with knockback so that he can knock opponents away easily. Now of course the stone sword doesn't do a lot of damage, so I also gave the kit a netherite sword to make up for it. The netherite sword would damage the player while holding it though. This was to prevent them from using it for too long. Additionally, I gave Wither a small strength boost whenever the player first held the sword after not holding it for a bit. This was also to compensate for the sword's lower damage. Additionally, I gave Wither a power 1 bow. This was mainly just for fun. To fit with the glass cannon feel of the kit, I made it so that Wither didn't have any ability to get more health. Rather, it had soul lancers and torches that would regenerate it when held. Finally, I gave Wither a charging ability. The player could charge up a Wither Skull to do high damage. This was a fun idea at the time, but it turned out overall to be the kit's downfall. Okay, now for the problems with this design. The skull did way too much damage in the early rounds, and it was essentially useless in the later ones, as the players would get more health. The skull just didn't kill them instantly. Wither's gameplay was also boring. Because you had to charge up the skull and had so little health, the ideal strategy was to run away for the whole game, which was not very fun. I tried to fix this by making the skull charge up faster when the player was nearby an enemy, so that players would be incentivized not to run away. But this didn't really change anything since, staying near other players would cause the kit to die spontaneously. So, Wither was a failure. What was supposed to be a glass cannon zoner turned into a kit that ran away for the whole round and either killed you instantly or died within 3 hits before it could do anything. So, after having some time to reflect, I have come up with a redesign that, hopefully, fixes Wither's problems. Firstly, I got rid of the charging skull because it was too hard to balance and wasn't that fun to play with. I also got rid of the netherite sword. Wither had way too many items to keep track of, and the strength it got when holding its sword already compensated for the lower base damage. I moved the soul items to Wither's armor and made the power 1 bow into its own gear. This allows the player to get more out of upgrading armor and overall streamlines the kit's upgrading process. Giving Wither the power 1 bow at the beginning also gave it a new purpose, to punish enemies who try to outrange Wither. Wither doesn't have that much health and bows already do a lot of damage, so Wither essentially dies in like 2 or 3 bow shots. The power bow prevents this by allowing Wither to punish any missed shots and demolishing enemies' health with a single shot. I drastically changed Wither's sword. The sword now starts out with even less damage than before, and still only maxes out at 5 damage. However, hitting the player will grant Wither resistance for a couple seconds, which will compensate for the lower damage and health. I also halved the time it took for strength to replenish when not holding the sword. I even moved it from Wither's special to just a standard sword upgrade. This is to make room for Wither's new special, getting skulls after each round 1. Skulls are now a consumable item and instantly regenerate some of your health when used. They also carry over from round to round, so you can hold up to 3 at a time. Even better, if you get 4 skulls, you get a charged skull, which, well, does a little bit. Overall, the new Wither is a huge improvement from the old one. In my testing, I had way more fun with it than ever before, and I feel like the kit now lives up to the vision I initially had for it when first coming up with it. Like and subscribe for more. Download Raid Arena. The 25.0 update comes out on July 1st, so I hope to see you playing. Goodbye.